Space, the final frontier. Well, okay, not really. All right, take two. Here in the Mitten State, welcome to Code 47, bringing you all things Star Trek, spanning the quadrants, the best thing since the neutral zone.
Oh, and we are back again. Welcome to the Code 47 podcast on the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network, episode number 78, lucky number 78. Sure, why not? But I'm joined, as always, by my stalwart co-companions, Mr. Peter Stein.
Hey, everybody.
And Katie Q. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Charlie?
I'm doing well. I, of course, am Charlie Carden, Trek Lord of West Michigan, captain of the USS Grand Petoskey, of which Katie is now a member. She's our underperforming soon-to-be ensign.
Yep, I'm going to really Beckett Mariner this stuff.
She's going to Beckett Mariner.
Yes, she's decks.
Lower decks. That's where, and speak of the devil, so to speak. that is what we're talking about today. Katie has been joining us to talk about new programming, but we're doing a little ramp up on the 25th of August, the month that we're in. We're going to be finally getting season 3 of Lower Decks, but we thought what better way for our listeners to really get prepared is to hear our thoughts again about Lower Decks. And Lower Decks, when Katie and I started working together, she said, I love it. I want you to love it. I can tell you don't love it the way you used to. So, we had a rundown with the heels and feels, which just really was very transformative of the way that I feel about it.
Very, very thankful to Katie for doing that. Because
Yes.
I was just like, oh, Charlie doesn't like Lower Decks. Oh.
I never understood it because I would watch it and I would laugh my butt off and I'd be like, how does Charlie not like this show? Just how does it not? I'm like, I know Charlie enough to know his sense of humor, and this is such his sense of humor.
It was so weird because I really did enjoy the first season, and then it came around that I was recording the show with some other folks who really hated season 2, and I got colored by their vibe, and it just kind of threw me off the mark. But anyway, we will get into that shortly. But as sometimes happens, we have news to report, and unfortunately, it's not great news. We talked on SFU Prime last week about the passing of Nichelle Nichols, our very own Nyota Uhura, the original Nyota Uhura, who left us a couple of weeks ago. I have seen her role in her character as described as the most important in franchise history, and I know I have to agree. Who broke more barriers than the character of Lieutenant Uhura? Name me that there would even be a distant second. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I cannot even begin to say. And I think what I am both saddened but also grateful that the actor who currently plays Uhura really got a chance to delve into the character with Nichols and talk about what an inspiration she was for her interpretation of the character. And so, I guess small silver lining is that she was able to be around to see her character be kind of re-honored and see how it was going to be cast again and the respect that would still be given to that character, especially with how much of an impact she was in the Star Trek universe and just in film and television overall.
Right. Oh, totally.
And
oh my
even
goodness.
in like the history of space travel with getting women,
right? Yeah.
If NASA more, so
if you've not seen it, it's on Paramount Plus, which listeners probably have if they are current with Star Trek. The Women in Motion doco that came out, it was either late last year or early this year, all about Nichelle Nichols' role in working with NASA in the 1970s. I think particularly in the 1980s on it's awesome. Go watch it. Now, we did do a breakdown of that back in the day when that did come out. So scroll back through your episodes of Code 47 and you'll find that. But anyway, on another sad note, we did lose 2 TNG/TOS movie actors. The great David Warner left us a couple of weeks ago. David Warner was a British character actor he's that guy who's been in a lot of great stuff, including Time Bandits, which was a very pivotal role of my youth. He played evil. And if you've not seen that movie, Katie, is this one mystifying to you? I know Oxford and I throw out a lot of weird movies you've never heard of.
Oh yeah,
No.
no, I have not seen this one. No.
Okay, gotcha. Well, that one I would recommend over seeing Clerks, which I know you've refused to see, and I respect that. But we got David Warner in Star Trek V as Saint John Talbot. He was one of the ambassadors who got kidnapped and kind of drove the early plot line of that movie. One of the bright spots of that film, quite frankly. And then most notably, the role of Gul Madred, who was Picard's Cardassian torturer, Mister There Are Five Lights, in season 6's 2-part Chain of Command.
Chancellor Gorkon and
why do I forget that one? Oh my goodness! Yeah, the Klingon Chancellor who essentially lobbied for peace and died for it in that film. Sorry about the spoiler from 1991. But anyway, amazing actor who did a lot of amazing, great stuff. Secondly, Paul Sorvino, who was the most, I think, famous in his career for playing kind of mobster guy. He's in a lot of mobster movies, but was also in an late series episode of TNG, was Worf's foster brother, Nikolai Rozhenko. He was was an anthropologist. Was that the role I'm thinking of, Peter?
Yeah.
Kind of a social anthropologist. So yes, yeah. So we did get the classic, unfortunately, trinity of celebrity deaths. They'll just happen to be Star Trek in this regard. So we wish them well on their journey to the great beyond. So with that, unless there are any further thoughts about gloom and doom, let's move on to something fun and exciting. So yes, we're talking about Lower Decks Season 1. Who wants to read this wonderful recap? I say Peter.
All right. Season 1 of Lower Decks, the first season of the American animated series Lower Decks, follows the various missions, and I'm going to say misadventures, of the Lower Deckers, low-ranking officers with menial jobs on the USS Cerritos, one of Starfleet's least important stations.
Oh, that's so mean.
Don't disrespect the Cali class. Come on.
That's so mean. Rude. I don't like it.
It's mildly. I mean, it's on brand.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
It very much on brand for the series.
the Cali class is the lower decks of Starfleet. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
It's basically TNG Miranda. Just
Ooh, old school and dusty. It's like, yeah, dust off the old model. Psh, psh, psh. So anyway, please continue.
Of the whole thing? Okay.
No, not the whole thing. Scrap it. Okay.
I'm just going to say, I mean, there's actors in it.
Yes.
Great.
I would say we can jump forward and just say the season premiered on streaming and CBS service, All Access.
And it ran for 10 episodes.
Yeah, it ran for 10 episodes. Until October 10th.
All right. Very good. I love it. Look at how succinctly we did that. Okay, let's start at least with episode 1. What did you feel? Now, did everybody watch this when it came out?
I think I watched it a week after it came out or something.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it
I was pretty close. Yeah, I was pretty close to when it came out.
So we're all pretty much, from the jump. We've been watching this the whole time. We didn't catch up.
Oh, yeah.
On, so, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So first impressions of the first act of the first.
So the first act made me a little confused, not story-wise, but because I had known who was making it, the guys who do Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty's not really my cup of tea.
Same.
I enjoy stupid humor, but I can handle it in doses, not when it's constant.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, I don't know how this is going to go. And so the first act, they're acting all goofy, and Mariner chops like half of Boyford's thigh off.
Right.
Anna, give me Anna.
Yeah, right.
And it was like, okay. But then the opening credits rolled, and I was like, man, as silly as the shots that they're doing in this are, they managed to do a proper Star Trek opening credit line.
Right.
With, ship shots and the names and all, and the sort of Jerry Goldsmith style music. And I was like,
exactly.
Okay, you got me right now. Because in opening credits, at least for me, that's a great moment.
Well, and I think the opening credits, they did a great job of really showing what it was. We are going to take this seriously in the fact that it is stupid. Like, because you have these beautiful, like,
Seriously
it's flying past, it's flying past a black hole, and it gets like gets sucked. Like, and they were saying, we are going to be making fun of ourselves this entire time.
Yeah.
So
but the nice thing is they kept bringing like old Star Trek stuff into it, and so it's like, hey, we know what we're doing. We respect what came before. But we're going to poke fun at it because we know that that's what we're about here.
Right. It felt very much of it was made by the fans that absolutely love Star Trek, and part of what they love is the absurdity that Star Trek brings sometimes.
Yeah, they embrace what I call, for Star Trek to like truly be great Star Trek, especially when it's like making fun of stuff, is to be self-aware and aware and embrace its own campiness. Star Trek has always been campy, even if someone's going to point at like, hey, that's a great episode. There's always some camp in there.
Yeah,
but why did this thing happen? Why is there blah, blah, blah? And you guys coined the name of this episode, It's Seriously Stupid. Boom. Yes. I love it.
I felt that very much that way of the opening, because you have, Boimler like making his captain's log in the closet, and you have that moment where it pauses the animation and it goes, yeah, but we don't do that, and everybody's like, like it's just the worst point to pause, and you're like, okay, you have your entire senior officer staff, you're introducing them as morons. Like, this is the worst way to introduce them. There is, not necessarily there's no respect, but they are very human type, or you're humanized characters at that point.
Right.
And
oh my goodness. Yeah.
I would say that I definitely felt the same kind of hesitation, because I love aspects of Rick and Morty. Like, I love the kind of, or I guess I should say the stuff I don't like about Rick and Morty is usually like the gratuitous violence or just the disgusting stuff that happens a lot. So I was a little bit apprehensive as well. But when you have Mariner showing up and she's obviously drunk and she's like talking about the Romulan ale, and she goes, you think it'd be green, but it's actually this really beautiful like blue color. It's really quite captivating. Like, that's the line that got me hooked, because it was such an absurd aside that I was like, okay, this is very clever with the way they're doing their humor.
Yeah.
Right.
And like poke.
And what an introduction too, because you're right. Like, it's this big captain's log, blah blah blah, and then the record needle scratching says, well, we don't really do that. We're basically doing the mop up, and he's saying everything, but we're running. It's like, it makes it sound like the Calit class is like the production assistant of the Star Trek line. We're getting coffee, we're doing this, and then for Mariner's introduction to be, drunk and talking about contraband and, waving around a batleth like a crazy person.
I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's just like, it's like buckle up, Buttercup. This is
hilariously like a running joke in there is like later where it's like, oh, I know that this isn't a real reality, because if truly something like this was going wrong, they'd send the Enterprise. Like, that joke comes up all the time.
Yes.
Right? Oh my goodness. All right. So, well, cool. Okay. So that's how we're up and rolling with season 1, or even act 1. We then get a quickie introduction to Eugene Cordero's character of Rutherford. We get Noel Wells as the very bright-eyed Orion. There are some Orions who have been pirates, who have given up piracy for almost 5 years.
Yes.
It's a great representation of her race. But it's funny, because in a cast of secondary characters who are primary characters, your secondary characters are who you would expect to be the primaries. But most of them are pretty obnoxious. Jack Ransom is pretty obnoxious.
Oh, but in such the best way. Like, he is all of the horrible qualities of Riker and Tom.
Right.
Just wrapped up into a beautiful little nugget of stupidity that's just fantastic.
Right. Any chance to rip his shirt off.
Yes.
So he's the Kirk Paris Riker salad. That could be the name of the episode too. But it's like, and I love Dr. Tana has to be my, and then again, I put some other notes in here, but I think she's my kind of favorite character of the set. If we were to pick second, like favorite characters from the first tier or the second tier, she's probably my favorite, even though I got to obviously be on stage with and meet Jerry O'Connell and Jack Quaid when I was at Mission Chicago back in April, which was awesome, and my signed Tom Paris played. But Dr. Tahana, that's actress Gillian Vigman, who I've seen in a lot of stuff always. I love her, and I love that character. And my favorite line that has at least come to mind that Mariner says about her is, "Since when do cats eat nachos?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't deal with thinking about it, and just other things that we see out of her, later in season 2 with the statue and the box.
Or the fact that they have her make cat noise, like she meows, but it's very obvious that it's just a person meowing, and it's not a cat meow where they'll just be like meow, and I'm like, what?
Meow! Oh my god. Oh, so I mean that is, so all right. So how about you guys? That's my favorite second tier character. My favorite first tier. I can't pick between the two obvious choices, which would be Beckett or I love Bradward. I looked it up and is Bradward a real name?
Yeah.
So and they said maybe not, but it's somehow a combination of Brad and Edward. I love it. You know what? It just shows that things are very future thinking. In the future, we'll have a Bradward. I can't necessarily choose. I would probably pick her.
So, Rutherford's name is also Samantha
Man.
Samantha Rutherford, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Which is it doesn't quite sound alien, but it does sound like the way names evolve and people spell things differently.
Well, it's like Jimothy. Jimothy's a name now.
Jimothy Cricket? Aaron. So,
yeah.
All right. So I'd pick her as my first tier. I'd probably obviously pick the Doctor as my second tier. What about you guys if you were to pick a favorite first and second tier? Katie.
Oh, that's okay. Well, Tendi would probably be my favorite first tier just because I relate to Tendi. Just the naive optimism that she has, and just like when she gets called the queen of the celestial winter or something in the second season, when you find out that she's this ultimate I'm I need more backstory for Tendi. Right. This has to be, I need to know more.
She used to be a badass pirate that everyone
There are some who have been not pirates for upwards of 5 years.
5 years, yes. Yeah. But I think that definitely Dr. Tahana, and then who is the security officer?
Jax.
Yeah, Jax. Those two are probably Shax. Those two are probably Jax. Combo my favorite, just because there's so many times when especially their relationship, but Shax makes me laugh when he's like, "Please let me blow something up. I have been very good this week."
Yes. Oh my god. We are actually going to potentially have a Shax in cosplay form come Grand Rapids Comic-Con. You guys know Joffrey. He's big on our staff, and he's a cosplayer, and he's been in the league, and he's in the G.I. Joe. But I'm placing that next Cosmart order, and he wanted a yellow uniform, and then I kind of walked him through the Bajoran ridge nose and the earring and stuff. So we may have it. So we might have some cool surprises. But yeah, that's a fun character. And yeah, he dies at the end of the season, and then I don't want to spoil anything for season 2, but we get him back, and it's this very tongue in cheek, well, I just can't talk about what happened, and da 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 da.
And then he tells Rutherford, and it's hilarious.
Yes, well, but also his relationship with Rutherford is so endearing, with the fact that he calls him Baby Bear, and it's just you've got this big monster. I mean, first off, the fact that he's Bajoran and he's just this kind of aggressive, almost warmongering
monster.
Yeah, you'd think he'd be Klingon, but he's not.
Right.
And then the fact that he also is just very caring and compassionate, and the way that he just takes care of his entire crew.
Supportive thing of Rutherford was hilarious. He's like,
that episode was so great.
I want to stay in security. That is great.
Yes.
You gotta be true to yourself. Yeah, that whole episode, in which I guess we go back to the titles, that was a real stand up for me. Which episode was that one? It was 2 or 3, wasn't it? Where he was trying to figure out what he was going to do with himself. I'm skimming. Or maybe
that's the second one. That's Envoys. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
That's what.
Because I was trying to match that one in with the romance episode with Boimler and his girlfriend Barbara.
That was also really funny.
Oh my gosh! So before we move on to talk about episodes proper, Peter, what are your first tier, second tier faves?
That's a tough one actually, because they kind of all the different characters grow on you as the episodes go on.
Yeah.
In terms of the bridge crew, Shax is my favorite.
He's the guy.
I mean, Freeman does grow on you a bit, but Shax is one of my favorite. But it's for me, it's I like all four of the main cast is the problem.
They're all very fantastic.
Right. And in different aspects, so they don't kind of blob together like maybe the TNG cast where you're like, oh, there's Geordi, whatever, and then there's Riker, whatever. But yeah, they're all very. It's like they fill the four quadrants.
They all like kind of complement each other very well, and like what they do, and like the way that Rutherford and Tendi work together, and they're both really like hyper excited about everything. Like,
exactly.
I stole some T-88s. Haha, guess what? I stole some for you too. This is why we're friends.
I know. Oh my goodness.
It's just great.
All right. Oh my goodness.
I mean, if I had to pick one, it might be Rutherford.
Oh yeah, he's so great. And again, we have before we really get into talk about episodes, we do have a great 10-episode arc where we end on a cliffhanger of sorts. There's some stakes in it that in a typical fashion get resolved in the next episode of the next season, and that obviously happens at the end of season 2, which we'll talk about as well. But to wrap things up, because we're kind of nearing the clock of our time here, let's have a favorite episode and one that maybe you could have done without. Katie, go for it.
I feel like this is the Strange New Worlds problem all over again, because I loved all of these episodes. And so to say like I could do without one, I don't want to do without any one of them. And I think that's my trouble.
I can't disagree. And so we'll put strike through that. That's fine by me. All right. But you do have to pick a favorite.
I think my favorite would be which one is it? It's Much to Do About Boimler? Is that the one where Or no, is that the one where he gets? Yeah, that's the farm. Just because the dog, yes, just because the dog is in it.
Dog the dog.
No, and it's the dog.
The dog.
Yeah,
her name is the dog. And my favorite part is just Tendi not understanding what a dog is, and her telling at the end, as the dog is literally walking in the sky away from her with her little ears flapping as wings. I don't even know. And Tendi just yells, "You are a freak!" And she goes, "I know. I just didn't want you to worry."
Oh.
And it's like, just the dog is my favorite part of probably the entire first season.
Oh my gosh. I totally agree. I'm going to go with episode 9, Crisis Point. Yeah. Yes. The Mariners really, really screwed up pirate holodeck episode therapy session was fantastic. And it was, she was so fired up, killing people and shooting this and that. And that even her friends were like, you are, I think it was Tendi. You were just way too into this. Mm-hmm. But it was good. But yeah, that was the one at the end where even the holodeck episodes finally, the holodeck proceedings gives way to the fact that the best kept secret in the series so far, which was that Beckett is the captain's daughter. And so it's something that was known to Boimler, and then it really bleeds into the season finale, which the season finale was fantastic for me because we got the Titan finally made canon. It was a ship created on a cover blurb after Star Trek Nemesis, but this actually finally made a captain. We got Riker back, who is my number one favorite Star Trek character of all time, but they really I got to even say the last 7 to probably 5 to 7 minutes of the season finale were my favorite because we got that, and then we got all the interplay when they were in the bar afterwards of Ransom,
Freeman as his Chadich,
right.
Yeah.
Ransom talking to Troy, and then she says, "Jack, I really sense that I can't remember what she said, but just kind of poking holes in him." And
basically, like you're sad and lonely. It's like,
that you work with that. Your vibrato compensates for your ineptitudes
and insecurities.
Exactly.
Yes.
Wow. I'm usually the one who knocks out dialogue, so I'm humbled. All right, let's Peter take us home.
Well, you kind of stole my thunder because those are kind of my two favorite episodes too.
Sure they are.
Potentially different reasons.
Wait, we have to take a moment. Do we agree on something, Peter? This is a rarity for us.
The yin and the yang have gone clunk. Oh my gosh.
Hey, every once in a while it happens.
Every once in a while. All right. Well, yeah. No,
Crisis Point and the finale are like my favorites. Partially because Crisis Point just like it makes fun of all of the movies.
Mhm.
Like every
Oh,
single
yes.
one of them gets roasted. The whole like they make absolute murder of the space dock scene from any of the movies where they do that. Like you can clearly tell they are murdering motion picture and Wrath of Khan, but then also just eviscerating Star Trek 09 for its lights, and it's just hysterical.
Oh my goodness!
And then like they add like the TV grain and the hairs and the little dots and like
right.
And even when you step into the holodeck, it becomes widescreen format, and Tendi steps out and it goes back to different format.
Oh my gosh!
Through the door as she's standing out, so you're still full format. She's looking through the holodeck door, and you see the black bar.
I just will never forget. Yeah, the old pan and scan versus widescreen in the VHS days. Like, oh well, did you get it? And did you get it in? You just got. Oh, you got it in pan and scan. What are you talking about? I like to say about the Star Trek movies. I've always maintained that there is always something to love about all of them, and there's something to hate about all of them until you get to Nemesis, which is totally worthless. No, I mean, and the three of us are going to do a send-up of Nemesis in a few weeks here, I think, as we get into the fall. I have that on the schedule. And I guessed it on someone's podcast a long time ago when we just talked about Nemesis, and I just... Give me a shovel and I'll dig and see if I can find something good to say about that movie. But Veritas, I was agreeing with you, would say that there's something in that highlights both of those that I would probably have to watch it again, because you're talking about pan and scan and stuff that I missed. You got me there.
That's the thing is I look at details. That's just what I do.
Well, and also there's the heart that comes with these, and it's the underlying, I think, like you were saying, these characters, the core characters, they all fill such a wonderful role and are so fully fledged out that you love all of them. And then you have this really beautiful, impactful moment that's really tragic of when Shax sacrifices himself for
but they don't exactly play it for laughs. They do a little bit,
it's very
but they let him be like, he saves Rutherford, and then he's like,
and he does it very true to his character, where he's like screaming and triumphant as like things are blowing up, and you can tell that like if he was going to go out, this would be the way that he wants to go. Yeah. And you have like the climaxing jokes with Badgie, and so there's a lot of humor around it.
We never talked about Badgie. Oh my God! Okay, all right, please continue.
Yeah, but I mean, I remember like feeling like that was a real gut punch for me because I loved Shaq so much, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. But like it was way more impactful than, which felt stupid, like on this little animated goofy TV show, of feeling so much loss for a character when you're watching like TNG and stuff, and like Tasha dies and you're like, that felt stupid.
Tasha dies and very conveniently had her own eulogy hologram for everybody to hang out and watch.
Yeah, I mean, and again, this felt very much like almost a joke to that, where they're all having like a hologram funeral afterwards.
Better than a hologram wake. Oh my God.
It was a great one where like that's where they waited to do the joke, where they have his like really insane face.
Yes, and so it helped like recapture the humor of it, but the pacing on it was absolutely perfection. But also Badgie.
Oh my God. We could go on and on about Badgie. We get Badgie again in season 2, right?
Yes.
Oh, good. We'll give ourselves permission to talk about Badgie in the next episode.
I don't remember.
Oh my God.
Maybe we don't. But I feel like
we get Badgie.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. Time for the research drones. Oh my God. I'm going to have to go back and watch episodes 9 and 10.
I mean, we'll have to just bring Badgie back into season 2, even if he's not there.
We're going to take a sec. All right. Well, let's wrap it up with this. Give me Lower Decks season 1 in one sentence. Peter, go ahead.
Respectful zaniness.
Katie.
Heartfelt stupidity.
And I will echo the name of the episode. It's seriously stupid.
Yep.
Oh my God. So, all right, we will be back in the next episode to talk about season 2 and to get you really completely prepared for season 3. Katie, as always, thank you for joining us. Where do people find you out there on the socials?
You can find me on Twitter on QT Geek, and then you can find me on Instagram at Quintessential Geek.
All right. Okay, faithful listeners, hold your breath. Peter and I will be back in a moment, and we will see Katie next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. All right, back from break, and it was a break for us, but it wasn't a break for you. But yeah, we are starting a new series, and this is the first occasion that we have reached the end of a show, because we have done season.
Although I suppose the end of the animated series might count.
Yeah, that's true. It was so long ago, and I wasn't recording with you. I was recording with your predecessor. So you're right. My brain kind of turns that off.
The animated series is kind of in pseudo whatever land. But.
Yeah, it's funny. The animated series Gene Roddenberry always said, and that would have technically been a successor to the season we're going to talk about here. Gene Roddenberry himself said he didn't consider it to be canon. So there's definitely a gray area. In so much that, yes, that is what Gene Roddenberry said many years ago, but we've seen pieces of the animated series, and this is funny, that's what we talked about at our panel at Kogan Con, myself and April and Lori, a few weeks ago, where we were talking about Star Trek and animation. We'll probably do that same panel again come Grand Rapids Comic Con, in which case Peter would love to have you join us for that, because they always give us a panel slot. But yeah, we've done seasons 1 and seasons 2 of all of the series so far. But yeah, this is the end of season 3 of the original series. So we're starting our season 3.
Final season. The season that came back because of a letter writing campaign.
Right. Well, that was, and that was season, and again, I don't have all of the original, analysis of it, but I've always said Star Trek is the show that got canceled 3 times, and the third time it stuck. But I know that this show was brought back because of a letter writing campaign. But the people at NBC said, "Well, we're bringing it back, but we're gonna just trash their budget, and we're gonna stick them in the death spot at 10 p.m. on Friday." And this was again in the late 1960s. There were no VCRs. There were no DVRs. Nothing was streaming. So
save it and wait it for tomorrow.
You either watched it or it did not exist because it was out there in the airwaves, and then you waited till the summertime when there were reruns. So, and I know, and again, I read this not that long ago, but I know there was, after the show was canceled in the summer of 1969, there was a change in the way Nielsen ratings were calculated. They went back through and cranked through the numbers of the Nielsen ratings of all 3 seasons of Star Trek, and it was one of the most popular shows of all time. Retroactively. Yeah, I know. And then, the show went on to its success in the early 1970s in syndication. It became an enormous success because it was on in many markets across the country and around the world at more favorable times. You'd watch it after the 6 o'clock news, or people, just like that scene in Back to the Future where Dad wheels the TV into the dining room. People watched it as they were eating dinner. So it became the pantheon of success that led to the entire birth of an actual franchise.
Star Trek, the original series, is still on reruns. It's just usually now back at 10 and 11.
Exactly, on MeTV, which all the people who were watching it in the 60s who are in their 70s, like my parents, would watch things. But anyway, we've gotten on a tangent without getting on a tangent, but we are talking about the first part of 4 of breaking down the final season of Star Trek, the original series. So one of the most infamous episodes of the series kicked this one off. Peter, go ahead.
Yeah, so imagine you've been a year without Star Trek, and you made sure that it came back, and then you get this. Spock's Brain. Written by Mark Daniels. Actually, directed by Mark Daniels. Written by Gene L. Kuhn, who was one of the producers, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Aired on September 20th, 1968. Briefest description. Captain Kirk pursues aliens who have stolen Spock's brain to power a computer.
I don't even really know what else you can say about it. Now,
aside from the fact that it has some really, really stupid, like, the women are airheads living underground with a computer that no one knows how to work, and the men are dumb as rocks cavemen on the surface.
With literal rocks.
It makes no sense.
I mean, you roll in so many Star Trek tropes into this one episode. You've got terrible sets. which was it the morgue and the e-morgue?
Yep,
the
the morgues and the imorgues. Yep.
Yeah, the morgues and the imorgues. Thanks. So it kind of reminds you, and maybe I was thinking of the time machine. What were the Morlocks? So I guess my brain mixed all those in together. But you've got the two societies that are split, which I think we get that in other Star Treks. I know
it's happened in a bunch of other.
Yeah, episodes. I know they did it at the end of Voyager with there was a species living under a dome, and then the dome came down, and so it was the same kind of thing. But yeah, you've got a computer that's running everything that nobody knows how to fix. Kirk talks. I don't even need to remember rewatching the episode to know that Kirk must talk it to death, and that's how they get Spock's brain.
Actually, no, he doesn't talk it to death because the computer becomes Spock. So Spock is the computer when they get there. So it's just hey, Spock, do you know how to put yourself back together? It's like, well, the information's in here, but I need to stick it in Dr. McCoy's brain. So stick Dr. McCoy over on this, hair dryer or whatever. Like it was from a hair salon, I'm pretty sure. Like stick it over his head. It's like now McCoy knows how to do it. Okay,
20 minutes.
He, gets halfway through. It's like I've forgotten how to do it.
Plug him back in.
And then Spock, you attached my vocal neurons, so now I can talk you through it. It's like, oh, this is so dumb. But it does have one of the most memed moments of Jim. His brain is gone.
Right. Oh yeah, exactly. Oh, it has so many applications. It's amazing. So yeah, it's again Mark Daniels and Gene L. Kuhn are producer, writing staff, showrunner. They didn't get Tom, Dick, and Harry off the street to do this.
They got veterans to do it.
Yeah,
this is a stinker.
But it still crashes. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's it's a classic send up to nothing but tropes, poorly executed. Obviously, how we watch them now is the 40th anniversary, the 2007 remastering where they redid all the opticals and it's really beautiful. But it doesn't save the core story. But going into this next episode, I think it really does help out. The next episode is the Enterprise incident, again, directed by John Meredith Lucas, again, heritage producer director of the show, and written by DC Fontana, who is the
probably the best writer on the
right. And if Majel Barrett Roddenberry is the first lady of Star Trek, DC Fontana would be the princess. You know what I mean? Just someone who had everything to do with the success of the series behind the scenes.
She wrote some of the best scripts that they had.
And I think she contributed, I think, in the animated series. I think she was involved
into early TNG.
Early TNG, exactly, I was going to say. So anyway, DC Fontana wrote it. We got this on September 27 of 1968. The crew of the Enterprise attempts to steal a Romulan cloaking device. And oh my God, did this episode give Shatner the opportunity to Shatner up to his ultimate Shatnering. He had some real...
I still think Enemy Within is the most.
He was just, so the whole beginning of the episode is a ruse. Kirk is acting erratically. He orders the Enterprise into the neutral zone, crosses all the way over to the neutral zone, so much so that the Romulans pop in and they surround the Enterprise. And everybody on there is questioning Kirk, what are you doing? Have you gone nuts? They end up over on the Romulan ship, and Spock applies the classic misnomer of the Vulcan death grip, which is not a thing. But Kirk is able to then fake his death and then reveal he's on a secret mission. And he suits up as a Romulan and goes back. And then, they're just to steal the cloaking device. Now, then Spock has this pseudo romance with the female Romulan commander of the ship. Ultimately, while it's a great episode and it spawned a lot of non-canonical fan fiction of, well, maybe later on Spock had a child with a Romulan commander or this thing or that thing. The simple fact of the matter of what I don't get is they steal the cloaking device.
And then they never seem to use it.
And then we later find out that because of the Treaty of
Algeron.
The Treaty of Algeron, which they seem to reference back to being maybe in the Romulan Wars, which was 100 years before this. It's what buffers between Enterprise and this show. Maybe I would have to go back and look at Memory Alpha to really confirm this. But if the Treaty of Algernon prohibited the Starfleet from developing a cloaking device, why did they go and steal it and then never use it? So really, the crux of it is
2311.
Oh, okay. So that
it hasn't happened yet.
Right.
It's
Again,
following the events of the Tomed incident.
which led in the big break, 50-something years of the Romulans disappearing. And they came back at the end of season 1 of TNG. So, and thank you for that reminder, because it was kind of floating in my brain. I wasn't totally sure. So, let me see here. So, yeah, the whole episode, and again, this also gave us, courtesy of budgetary constraints, reusing of the beautiful original Klingon D7 model as a shared piece of Romulan technology.
It wasn't just budget constraints. They lost the Romulan ship.
Oh,
it got destroyed, and so they couldn't rebuild it.
Which is even funnier, because obviously with the opticals and this replaced, when the Enterprise is surrounded, it's surrounded by 2 of the D7s, or basically that, and then also a CGI Romulan Warbird.
They brought back like the normal Romulan Warbird.
Right, exactly. So, and I mean, that's cool. And it kind of enhances the weird relationship between the Klingons and the Romulans. They were so close at one point, they were sharing technology. Then they became blood enemies for over 75 years, which is a line that Geordi said in when the Klingon-Romulan intrigue started to get really big in the middle of TNG in seasons 3, 4, and 5. So that's interesting. But again, ultimately, the episode has no meat, because the mission they go on bears no fruit. You know what I mean?
I mean, in an in-universe context, it doesn't really do anything. But as an episode, it's a great episode.
Agreed. Yeah, exactly. So, did they then, they passed off the cloaking device, which ultimately we end up seeing.
I'm going to guess that they probably pass it off to the Starfleet Corps of Engineers, and then they got, the 23rd century version of Barclay, and he broke it. I'm just going to say that happened.
Yeah, kind of bummed. The 23rd version, the 23rd century version of Barclay, unfortunately died, was H. John Benjamin's troublemaking character, but he died. So it could have been him, but it wasn't. But yes, maybe it was his cousin. I don't know. The Tribble guy's cousin. There you go. Anyway, yes, great episode, but ultimately, kind of a one-off. So anyway, okay, moving on. Episode 3, it's all yours.
Yeah, so then we move from that to The Paradise Syndrome, directed by Judd Taylor, written by Margaret Arman. Aired October 4th, 1963. A mysterious alien device on a planet with a predominantly American Indian culture erases Captain Kirk's memory, and he begins a life with them as a member of their tribe, known as Kirok.
Right. Interesting for...
The concept of the episode is actually interesting. The whole idea of the preservers, like they've been kind of floating around here for a little while, spawned a lot of interesting fan fiction. The Shatner-verse books are heavily involved with the preservers.
Right.
Like the preservers are a really interesting idea, but and I do have to say, I do like, even though his memory is wiped, I do like how, because his personality isn't gone, it's still Jim Kirk.
Right.
But Kirk settles down and has a family and actually loves, what's her name? Miramani or something?
Miramani.
Miramani. Yeah. Like there's actually like something good there, and you see him grieve her loss at the end.
Right.
So like there's some really, really good Kirk moments in this episode, but overall it's just kind of like, I don't know.
I mean, what I liked about it is, this is one of the few location shoots that they did in the series at all. But it's
that's true, yeah.
It's even more, and they had a great. I think I looked it up. It's one of the LA County parks or something. It was like a really well-known location where they shot it. But to think about the fact that they did what was obviously a very expensive location shoot in the super cash-strapped 3rd season is really impressive. Do keep in mind that there were only 24 episodes in this season. I know the first season had 30, maybe season 2 had 26. So this was, they cut back the order. They've gone from 30 all the way down to 24. So they shaved a lot off. I really like it too. And I like it really even as it reminds me of kind of my 4th and 5th grade education about the American Southwest and Native American culture, indigenous people. So, so I really liked this. I thought that,
and it tries, like as the 60s, it's, it has some iffy, but it tries to respectfully deal with Native American culture.
Right. Even
it's
though
not perfect, but it tries.
All of your actors are basically Caucasians painted brown, just not as brown as the Klingons, who are a deeper shade of brown. I really
are aliens.
Yeah, exactly. But this episode greatly benefited from that 40th anniversary 2007 rehab of the optical effects with the Enterprise and the meteor that's going to come crashing into the planet. I think they did some really good stuff with that. So I would say, I would highlight this as a highlight of the early of basically this segment. Yeah. I would think Enterprise incident plus this were in a good spot, which is great because what comes next is the next three. Well, the next two. I'm gonna stand behind number 6.
Yeah, the next one, the 6th one is fine.
Yeah, but we'll lump in talking about these next two. But yeah, episode 4 is yours, Peter, and just hold your nose like this.
Yeah, honestly, this one for me is a little bit more painful to watch than Spock's brain, to be perfectly frank.
Yeah, I'm right there with. Anytime you involve child actors, ouch,
especially in the 60s.
Yeah,
en masse.
Yeah, but go for it.
In case you don't know which one we're talking about, it is episode 4, And the Children Shall Lead. Directed by Marvin Chomsky, written by Edward L. Lasco, aired October 11th, 1968. The crew of the Enterprise rescues a group of children stranded on a planet along with their evil imaginary friend.
Oh my God.
The less said about this episode, the better.
The character is Triacus was the planet. I can't remember what they call it. I would best describe the evil imaginary friend is think about a Jell-O mold in a muumuu, but it's a guy who looks like a 60s cab driver. Use your imagination. Yeah, it was because he was glowing green. He was wearing a muumuu, and he looked like your pervert uncle. I don't know. However you want to describe it, but
he's just one of.
I mean, oh my God. I will tell you that 2 of the child actors, one was Phil Morris, who has been in absolutely everything, including later Star Treks. He was a Klingon. He was the astronaut in Voyager, who they found the Ares 2 when they found it in the Delta Quadrant. He had a great role on Seinfeld where he played the Johnny Cochran-like lawyer for laughs. He was trainee Foster in Star Trek 3, who was in the bridge saying, are they going to have a ceremony when we get in? That was him. And then the other actor, I think his name is, and again, I'm just riffing from memory, Brian Takamura, very briefly played one of the rotating ensigns at Khan in season 4 of TNG once Wesley was gone. Cool. He was also one of the Ninja Turtles in the first Ninja Turtle movie in 1990. I don't remember which, but yeah.
Interesting.
So you had some. The rest of the kids, who the hell knows? This episode, total loss. And again, Edward J. Lasco, you should be ashamed of yourself. But moving on to episode 5, is there in truth no beauty? I always script the name of that. So directed by Ralph Senesky. Written by Jean Lincet Eros. Wow, it's very French.
Erost or something to that effect.
Very much. I like that. October of 1968, the Enterprise travels with an alien ambassador who must be inside a special case because his appearance causes insanity. And again, how do you call a Medusan a he? Already dealing with pronoun issues in this episode. Notable.
I believe that the Medusan does go by he in this episode.
Okay.
At least for convenience.
Right. Very weird, but a lot to unpack there. The Medusans are a character that we have in modern Star Trek parlance because there's a Medusan character in Star Trek Prodigy whose name I am forgetting. Isn't it like X or XO or something like that?
Yeah. But I actually quite liked how they did that because that's a deep dive for an episode that most people don't really remember.
Exactly. So. This episode is also extremely notable because this is the second of 2 appearances of Diana Muldaur, who later goes on to be Dr. Catherine Pulaski in season 2 of TNG, which Katie and I lampooned a little earlier this year. Katie's not a fan of Dr. Pulaski. I'll tell you that right now. I actually
quite like Pulaski.
I'll say, and I will say, and not that I'd like to speak for people, Katie kind of evolved the way she felt about Pulaski as the season went on, but initially was like, ugh.
We got you to like Lower Decks. Everyone,
right? Exactly. You know what? IDIC and always the evolution of thought, without a doubt. But this was a weird episode. So they're kind of weird misnomers is they had a character named Larry Marvick early on who was described as one of the designers of the Enterprise, which makes no sense. The Enterprise had been in service for 20 years at this point. That guy looked like he was maybe in his 30s, so unless he was Wesley Crusher, I don't really think he designed the Enterprise. So that was bizarre. But again, that's all retconning, and it was a throwaway line that Scotty literally said to the guy as they were walking out of the transport room and the doors were closing, so it's kind of easy to ignore it. But yeah, Diana Muldaur's character was Dr. Miranda something or other, who is actually, you find out that she, throughout the course of the episode, that she's blind, and her fancy, very 60s looking outfit has little sensor eyes. So she's kind of like Daredevil. She can see that way. That's how she can deal with the Medusa.
Yeah, so she has like a normal like cloth dress, and then she has like this net, which is
exactly.
Net that
she's kind of like over on our Prime SFU show. She's kind of like Madam Web. There you go. She's the Madam Web of Star Trek. But yeah, Larry Marvick is crazy in love with her, and she rejects him. And then he ends up seeing the Medusan and going mad and flipping some dials in engineering and flinging the Enterprise into far-flung space. And they need the Medusan's help to navigate back. So Spock has to talk to it, or it inhabits his body. I mean, I'm so lost on the details at this point because this episode was such a write-off that, like, again, when you have a guest writer who's someone who maybe doesn't know how to tackle Star Trek, I think it reminds me of Star Trek Nemesis all over again. You just really don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, overall, I didn't really care for this episode.
Yeah.
So I would tend to agree with you. Like, it's not bad. There's like, and in the sense that it's not awful. It's still trying to be a Star Trek episode. It's just not a really good one.
Right. True. It's still trying. It's really trying. It's really, really trying. But wrapping things up, episode 6 is one that I enjoyed on a lot of different levels. And it's one of the ones I've rewatched. I had a VHS tape of it. Let's say that. Now we're talking 25 years ago when Star Trek, before I think it transitioned, it was maybe in 1999, they transitioned and started putting them on DVDs. And you would get 2 episodes on a DVD. But prior to that, they were either single
VHS tape.
Yeah, it was, or if you got it from Columbia House, it was maybe 2. But yeah, this is one I know I had a VHS of. So anyway, Peter, this was yours.
This one had my first Star Trek T-shirt was actually the lightning strike of them standing in a line from this episode.
Neat.
So just them in like profile. It's anyway. It's a cool.
All
show.
right,
it's falling.
Go
apart.
for it.
But so episode 6, Spectre of the Gun.
I love it.
Directed by Vincent McEvedy. Written by Gene L. Kuhn. See, he went from writing a stinker to actually a pretty good one.
You know what?
October 25th, 1968.
People were doing so many drugs back in the 60s. I'm sure he had lots of highs and lows. This was a high. Anyway.
There are some episodes you wonder if they were smoking it while they were writing it.
Right. So, well, that,
potentially Spock's brain.
Yeah, I was going to say that's how the Beatles did some of their best work. But anyway, go ahead.
So, for trespassing on an alien world, Captain Kirk and his companions are forced to reenact the famous shootout at the OK Corral.
Pew, pew, pew.
With themselves cast as the losing side. So, Tombstone. Yay.
Yay. Oh my God, did I love this. When I was a kid, for spring break when I was maybe 10, my mom has some friends that lived out in Tucson, Arizona. So we took spring break out there. We went to Old Tucson, which is obviously, trust me, they didn't film this. This was all filmed indoors because it was it was cheesy yet clever in its own way how they did the sets of this. Because again, for this interference, the Melkons is the race, and it was they redid the opticals because the Melkon ship was a spinning like kite. Like a rectangular kite, but they managed to somehow make it a little bit better when they recomposited the opticals or did it in CG. But the Melkons pulled from Kirk's brain the American, the ancient West, as it was called in that holodeck episode in season 6 of with Worf and Alexander in TNG.
Fistful of Datas.
A Fistful of Datas, which was, again, such a great episode.
Love that episode.
But what was cool about this is that, the sets were very partial. You got a wall hanging here. You got a back wall over there. You got the bar in the
And then you have like a picture frame suspended by fishing wire.
Right, exactly.
On a wall.
So your explanation is, well, we didn't have any. We spent all of our money when we did the Native American episode a couple of days back. So,
and the in-universe episode is hilarious.
Exactly.
They're just like, so they created enough for us to like do it, but they don't really care about detail.
Right, exactly. Which just absolutely worked in universe. But
as I say, Trek is great when it embraces the camp.
Right. And they did it in a way that was serious, where over in Lower Decks, as we were talking about, they do it in a way that's not, but in some ways still has the same result, intentionally versus unintentionally. But I love this, and it feels like, again, with Star Trek being billed as a wagon train to the stars, this was a very literal interpretation of this, turning Star Trek into a Western, but still doing it in a very cool sci-fi way where, your mind is a reality, because that's how they escape at the end. Because obviously, throughout the course of the episode, one of the villains shoots Chekhov and he dies, but it's really determined that your focus is your reality in this. It's very midichlorians and use the Force kind of scenario, because when they finally get to the shootout, Spock mind melds with the other three characters and said, the bullets are an illusion. This isn't really happening. And so when they're lined up, the Earps are just bang, 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 blown away. And you're seeing the fence behind them, all the squibs going off and shots. And our guys are fine. And then you get the ultimate, one of Kirk's great later series Kirk Fu moments. He jumps at the guy, knocks him down. And then the way he's punching at him, it's like 2 up and 2 chops and 2 this and that, knocks him over. And shit, this was the greatest of the pack. I love this episode. I'm just 10 out of 10 for me because of its reversal of the corniness. I think this is perfect Star Trek. Because every character was firing on all cylinders. Scotty had some great one-liners. Spock did what Spock does best. Kirk does what he does best. Same thing with McCoy, trying to solve things, from a medical standpoint when everything is an illusion. It was just, this was, of the 6 that we talked about, this one's my favorite.
Yeah. It's a good episode. I enjoy it. So.
Oh my goodness. So that takes us through our 6-pack. So this one's my favorite. Which one was your favorite?
Out of all of these, probably the Enterprise incident.
Yeah.
I like Romulans. I just do.
I do. And they got such little play in TOS because the quote was, we can't afford all the ears. Where the Klingons were
which
cheap.
is hysterical because then the Klingons became more expensive in TNG, and that's why you started seeing Romulans more.
Right. We can do it. We have the ears now. Okay, and then the obvious question is, what was the worst for me? I think you and I have the same answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just wow.
And the children shall lead.
Come on, give me a friggin' break. Okay, well, we will be back on our next episode to take on the next segment. But until then, Peter, take us away.
For more information about Starfleet International, visit Grand Petoskey on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Oh, yeah. We are looking for a few good men, women, and various robots and androgynous beings. So come find us. Peter, where do people find you out there in the socials?
You can find me on the internet at Petrus Aquinas on Twitter, Twitch, and basically anywhere.
Twitter twitching. All right. And you can, of course, find me over on Twitter at the C3 Spell It Out. Of course, our main Instagram account is, or Twitter account is at Secret Friends U. We want to hear from you. Let us know what you thought about season 3 of TOS. Are we totally off base?
Did you really like And the Children Were Lead and think we're all insane for thinking it's garbage?
I want to get somebody to come out and, put your money where your mouth is. Let us know what you think about it. Yeah. I also, as I said, my wife April and I run the USS Grand Petoskey here in West Michigan. Drop us a line if you'd like to hear more about that. I also do try to put content on our SFU socials when I can, and Star Trek content and beyond. So with that, friends, I'm going to tell you, as always, that sharing is caring, and to keep on trekking.
Peace and long life.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for more great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and other podcast services around the world. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join us on Facebook or our new Discord server, or follow at Secret Friends U on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends Unite on YouTube and visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.